What's up, everybody? This is your favorite internet cousin with the episode 3. And y'all, I'm excited because y'all have probably seen this guy help so many artists become who they are. You have probably seen, me on his platform because he's always helping up and coming artists, up and coming creatives. Um, and today I wanted to really ask him some questions because there have always been some questions that I have, and I wanted to ask somebody who has the knowledge and the respect and the reputation to be able to answer some of these questions. So, without further ado, I want to say that this next guest is none other than Jacob Anderson. I'm gonna let you talk about yourself, explain yourself. Sorry, let's do this.
As King Jacob and Jacob Jones in the entertainment industry. Been in the industry since about 1997, man. Started off with the Street Team Promotions Club Promotions while I lived in Washington, D.C. My very first job was doing street team promotions, hanging up posters, passing out flyers, going to the radio station, giving the posters the flyers, and going to different barbershops and beauty salons. And that was by way of a thing that I know that worked for Dream Records that was headed the street team promotions in the DMV area. And, Maryland, Virginia. And he brought me in, man, said he needs some help. So my very first gig was the rapper Noriega, the What tour from Noriega. That was my very first gig. And from then on, I had some mentorship as far as managing artists, as far as understanding the paperwork that can get artists paid for the rest of their life. Because in the music industry, solely music is 95% business and 5% talent. So if you have your working on get paid for the rest of your life, no matter what. And if you have your trademark in order, that allows you to get more music licensing than anything. Because if your name is trademarked, then that puts you on a whole different level than any other artist. So I've worked in the industry as far as entertainment, but I also work with a lot of nonprofits because I am a guy that's for the community. I advocate for the community, whether it be stop the violence campaigns, whether it be sex trafficking campaigns, the absentee with father campaign, single mothers campaign. I got a big heart for kidney failure because, my dad struggled with kidney failure for a very long time. And I got a big heart for people who have lupus because, my significant other has lupus and she battles with it a lot. So, you know what I mean? So that's me in a nutshell. I'm glad to be on this show. You know, and cousin, let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. First off, I want to say thank you so much because, like as you said, you have done a lot of groundwork for artists like us who want to become, an artist that people listen to on the day of artists who are asked to be on some of those shows that we love to watch. Like you have really set a groundwork and you have really worked for artists. So I want to say thank you first off. And secondly, now I want to get into like some real good questions because not only me but so many people they have questions about becoming a singer, becoming a rapper, uh, being in this industry. And you said something that I wanted to kind of like piggyback off of a little bit before I go into my question. So you said that selling music is 95% business and 5% talent, and that
Yes.
could not be even more true now that I'm on this side of it. It's like it's true. How do you how do you stay so integral and how do you stay committed to God, stay committed to your faith while also knowing that you may have to or not may have to, you have to bend to the rules of the music to keep it to make it work.
Well, bending to the rules of music is one thing, but keeping your integrity and knowing that you got God's favor is a whole nother level.
Hmm. I'm
There's a
sorry, you're
lot of
kind of
people
breaking up a little
that
bit.
produce. Uh, let me see. All right, what about now?
Okay, yes. Perfect.
All right, so bending the rules in the industry, and you kind of bend the rules sometimes, but you still can't go against your faith and go against the grain that got you there. And so with bending the rules, this you still gotta have some integrity, and you still gotta understand that I'm bending the rules a little bit to see if they can see the position I'm in and how I can change the narrative to make the project or make the company or make the artist brand better as the artist is becoming a household name. So, bending the rules, I wouldn't call it bending the rules. I would say changing the narrative so they can see your point and they can understand that you're a visionary and you understand how to market a brand, how to make a brand a household name, and how to make that particular artist or that particular entity know that they are a brand as well, because your birthright is a brand. And
Mm,
so once you understand that your birthright is a brand, that's a whole different level.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's, who I love talking to people who have are faith-filled believers, but also in the industry that sometimes will make you forget that. I want to ask you, what was it that made you say, "This is what I want to do. I want to help other people see who they can be and see their potential." What was it?
My daddy, my daddy, man. Man, listen, I grew up in the church, got a church background, sung on the choir. My daddy went to various churches to sing, and just to see people be so happy and just be so enlightened and be glorified, of his praise through song, and was able to build a whole network through various churches across South Carolina. And so seeing him do that, my first networking and my first order of in learning how to structure business came from within the teachings from the church.
Wow.
And so therefore, going to the board meetings and going to the church conferences and really, understanding the budget, the quarterly budget, the yearly budget, within the CME churches, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what really got me to structure, and just to see people smile when we were singing, just to know, that my dad has set this precedent for us to really follow. And man, he's no longer with us, but at the same time, I remember his funeral, man, and I remember my cousins from DC. They was like, man, how many people did Uncle Jacob know, man? This is like
Wow.
a funeral that you would see with President of the United States. It was so many people there. We talking about people parking their cars 2 miles down the road and walking to the church.
Wow. Wow. And that's
Yeah.
I love that because a lot of this generation, and I was talking to one of my friends about it. I I am so grateful that this generation has its strengths, but one of the weaknesses that I feel that we have now is that we don't have that community, you know, and
Hmm.
the generation before us, even before you, they were big on community, and so I think just being able to be around that helps us see like it's more than just me. It's more than just about me. I want to talk about, and I'm glad you said some of the stuff because I want to talk about King Jacob as a child because I think a lot of times we don't really take in the fact that our childhood and our youth really causes what creative looks like to us in this moment. What? How were you as a child? Were you a creative child? Were you one of the ones who got in trouble a lot? Because you spent like a lot of years in the creative industry, and a lot of times that's always what it is. I couldn't be creative, so I didn't know how to express it. So how was that for you?
I was a child with attitude. Um, I was a child that used to fight a lot in school.
Wow. Yeah.
I was a child that was no nonsense, and I was a child that looked at a point of view and I didn't understand it. My dad and mom got us what we need, not what we wanted. And so when everybody else was wearing designer clothes and stuff like that, my dad was like, "No, we don't have money for that. I'm not wasting money on that. When you're able to get a job, you can buy your own designer clothes." So from and then I was girl crazy, man. Sneaking out the house to meet up with girls, man, and talking to older women. Crazy, man. Like I remember when my mother told me that I couldn't talk to this older chick no more. I cried like a baby. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was the end of the world. You know what I mean? So so man, those type of life situations, helped me get through, man. And and I just remember I always wanted to be with the boys, the cool kids that didn't have a curfew. But as I know now, why my dad was so hard and so strict and instill certain things. I mean, those kids ended up doing time and going to prison,
Right.
and I was always the one. Even if we was hanging out, and if somebody say it's on site, I throw my peace sign and I get to moving because me myself, I like freedom, and being that my pops worked for the Department of Corrections for 30 years, I already knew what went on inside those prisons, and so I was definitely terrified of prison, and I wasn't going at the likes of nobody else.
Right. That's true. I'm glad that you know you are a great pillar for just being for black men, young black men especially, on your platform because a lot of times we don't have those male figures who will tell us it's better out here than there, you know? And I think
Right.
a lot of young black men, we were creative, and we just didn't have that outlet. And if you don't have that outlet, sometimes it can be really difficult for you to see who you can be and see who you are because you don't have that outlet or you don't have that person that you can look up to and say, "Wow, I want to be like that." You also
Right.
said that you basically manage a lot of hip hop artists, rappers, and
Hmm.
one thing that I want to ask is, a lot of rappers and hip hop artists now, it's like a one track type of thing happening with the music. And I want to know
Hmm.
what is one thing that you pour into your artists, especially rappers, about their
You
brand.
know, I haven't managed artists in a while because I'm on the PR side now, but I've always told artists, man, music, community, family, education, and do they listen? No, but this is what I think about each artist, no matter what artist you are, what genre you are. Each artist should have their own nonprofit because within the nonprofit community, if you can make something clean, something heartfelt, something warming, the nonprofit will promote you and they will have you perform their events. And there's people in their audience of the nonprofit who will have the revenue to put something behind you or who will want to talk to you where you can partner up with them to put on events, whether it's a breast cancer awareness, whether it's for kids with autism, whether it's, something for fibromyalgia, uh, 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 brain cancer, just whatever it may be, your community outreach along with your music can get you noticed by people who you didn't even think would even notice you because they know you on a mission, you got a purpose. And so your purpose is greater than your music. Your purpose is about the people. You know what I'm saying? And once your purpose is about the people will embrace you as well as your brain will elevate.
Wow, wow, that was good. Your purpose is about the people. That might be something that you need to say on next, because I think a lot of times we forget that. Like it's okay to want people to listen to you or whatever, but what are you bringing, what are you giving to people? And it doesn't even have to be something, because I think a lot of times we always think materialistic, but you can give hope, you can give love to people, and you can give joy to people by just giving and being selfless. Speaking of selfless, you grew up in an era where a lot of the music was very retrospective. It was very, how can I help you? You grew up with people like Aretha Franklin and James Brown and Sammy Davis, you grew up around that good music. What would you say differed from that music to this music? And even tell me some of the things that inspired you, artists that inspired you growing up.
Artists inspired me growing up, man. I would have to say groups like the Manhattans, groups like the Dells, groups like the OJs, people like Aretha, people like Gladys Knight, just songs like that. And even in the rap world, man, people like Heavy D,
Mm,
people like Big Daddy Kane, people like Rakim, people like Chuck D, who stood for social injustice,
yeah.
um, and people like females, people like MC Light and Queen Latifah and Lauryn Hill and Miss Melly B, and how KRS One put that whole movement together about self destruction and came out with the video you had for self destruction. You know what I mean? And people like that, and they just inspire me, and how Ice Cube went from being a gangster rapper to this critically acclaimed film producer and film director, man, and how he's had some of the best films out there, man, and how he's more now on the political side, like T.I. and David Banner is more on the political side right now, man. And how Young Jeezy went from a gangster rapper to investing in real estate to make affordable single homes for single mothers and single fathers, because he feel like every kid should grow up in a home and not an apartment. You know what I mean? Stuff like that inspire me.
I love that. Yeah, and that's something that I've talked about and it talked about with different people, and also like just being able to research about it. Like the I love, and as you said earlier, having nonprofits and having things in order where you are literally giving back to people and you are showing people that my platform and my resources I'm using to help you. How do you? What do you say is the difference between the music then and the music now? The artist then and the artist now. The albums,
Um,
singles, all of that.
the music then I feel like had more of a purpose. It can reach you in your time of need. I think the artists now, a lot of artists just want the fame and the fortune. They don't want to be passing now. I ask each artist whether they any artist or they major. If you are artist and you're making music, will your music still be around 40 years from now? Will your music still be around 25 years from now? Is your music going to be timeless? Or will the youth want to sample your music? Will you still be able to get mechanical royalties after you're retired? You know what I mean? I said, will you be legendary like Al Green and the Isley Brothers, where everybody want to sample your music? You know what I mean? Will you be a poet and a militant cat like Tupac? That yeah, he had some troubles with the police and he had this gangsterism, but he was a creator. He was a great actor. He was a poet. He stood up for black people, man. If he loved you so much that he was willing to stand up and die for you. Like, did you have some Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. inside you when you're making your music? Do some of your songs stem from their speeches? You know what I mean? One was a pastor of the people, the other one was with the nation that was militant and understood that his people deserved better and was gonna stand tall on business no matter what they said. So, who inspires you? Does Marcus Garvey inspire you? Does Frederick Douglass inspire you? Does
Mm,
Sojourner Truth inspire you?
yeah.
Like, can you make a conscious rap song that's dedicated to the kids and the single mothers to let them know that somebody out here rooting for you? I'm gonna support you no matter my lifestyle. Just cause I'm in the streets don't mean I don't have a heart. So, what type of artist are you? Do you have some identity with your music?
Ooh. Mm, mm. That was good. We gotta. I want to sit with that one for a little bit. Do you have some identity with your music? That is a lot of artists and not just, and this is not a artist bashing, because even me, I'm learning, a lot of stuff, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But again, this is a process you have to learn. A lot of artists don't have the identity, and a lot of execs and a lot of people who have uh, the ability to give you the platform will sometimes, I think, see that you don't have the identity, and they will force an identity on you. And when they do that, it then begins to make you crumble because you don't know who you are. And then you are 10, 20 years down the line. You have the money, you have the cars, you have the houses, but it's also like, who am I? Again, I'm so grateful that you talked about it, but just having people again who are like you, who who pour into not just young black men, but young men all over, young men as a whole, who tell us and show us that you can be and you can do a lot more by being exactly who you were created to be. I love that. Do you think that? What do you think a lot of music, especially because you talked about it a little bit, but for music, what do you think we are, and what do you think? Okay, of course, this is your opinion, but What do you think we should go again with music? And this is not for the whole industry, but for the people who are really passionate and have a heart for it. What do you think needs to happen?
I think you should talk about the music from the heart. I think you should talk about your issues that you overcame. What type of challenges and obstacles did you overcome? You know, how do you see the women? Like, how the women different from your grandmothers and your mothers now today? So your grandmother and your mother didn't dress half naked. So, young lady, why are you doing it? These are issues. You know, why does people need marijuana to sustain? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Why do young kids act like, their anxiety and their depression is through the roof because they can't put a blunt in their mouth? You know what I mean? Why does the government put us last when we make America thrive? The black and brown people are the number one consumer. So why are we last? And
Yeah.
so why, if an athlete has money or an entertainer has money, why didn't donate to South Carolina when Hurricane Helena came down here and tore us up? You know what I mean? I did not see one celebrity, but you still come to South Carolina to get all this money with these concerts, but you did nothing for South Carolina. In the time of need. So who are you really? Are you just a snake in the music industry? So what is your purpose for the people that love you, that put money in your pocket, and then do you not love your target market audience in each state you go to? So who are you really?
Yeah. And that goes back to giving. And I think that even we are both faith-filled men, and even in the Bible it talks about giving. And if you give, it'll come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And it's like,
Right.
I think that's one thing that I believe, and I know that's one thing that a lot of people underestimate, even myself sometimes, is giving back and being somebody who gives and helps and do anything that you can, sacrifice, because again, that's how a lot of our ancestors were able to even make it, sacrificing and making a community, as you said. So I want to ask a question
Uh-huh.
um, that I want to get your I want to get your mind on this, your mindset. If you could build, and I got this game from another music podcast. I said, "Oh, this is a good question to ask him because you've been here, you've been in this industry, you've been in this sector. If you could create an artist, you can mix and match them with all different artists, all types of genres, all types of generations. But if you could create an artist, any artist that you believe would be that artist who could be a Michael Jackson, a Prince, a Beyonce, a winner in all the sectors, a winner in every area of this industry. how would you create them? Who would you take what from? Style, personality,
Hmm.
talent, and the
Hmm.
business mind.
Um, I'm gonna give so I'm gonna put a male and a female together in two
Do it.
ways.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna give you two different ones.
Okay.
Um, I would I would take the soulfulness and the song ability and the singing ability of Lauryn Hill, and I would take the grittiness and the rawness and the spiritual preach of DMX and put it together.
Ooh. Ooh. Whoa. That. Mm, y'all. And here's the thing. With both of them, I started listening to them because when I was growing up, I could not listen to. I couldn't listen to
Right,
secular music. I had to sneak it. But
right.
as I started growing up and I started listening to a lot of Lauryn Hill, that first album in itself shows why she does not ever have to make any more music. She will be Lauryn Hill and still making bank and still touring and still performing for the rest of her life simply because of everything that you said earlier, her passion, her heart, and her being somebody who is for people. And that I remember Nina Simone said something, and Nina Simone said every artist has to know the times that they're in because you have to speak to the times that you're in. And Lauryn Hill spoke to not only the time that she was in, but she's spoken and she is still speaking to times coming. Generations ahead. Like that was a spiritual prophetic lady. DMX, that is DMX is like a Tupac with a little bit of I would say a little bit of Michael Jackson's creativity with a little bit of like he's just that artist and ooh I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
And so my second choice would be of two younger artists, right? I would most definitely put Jasmine Sullivan with J. Cole.
Ooh oh oh wow
Yeah.
okay oh my Jasmine Sullivan is another J Cole is another I yeah. Sheesh, that's good. Jasmine Sullivan, J. Cole, and Lauryn Hill and DMX. I want to see that. I want to
Right.
see that. How do you?
Right.
What is it that you, as a person, what do you see yourself? Because I think a lot of times in the industry we kind of and I was talking about this with someone who has been in the film industry for a while, a long time. Susie Johnson, I love Mama Susie. Shout out Mama Susie. She she's 69 and she's been in the business for over 40 years. And one
Mm.
thing that she said yesterday is that our generation really looks at the older as dumber. And that kind of made me sad because a lot of times we do. My generation. Sometimes a
Uh-huh.
lot of times we do look at the older ones as if we we can't learn from you. You don't know. You don't understand. But it's like they've lived a life that we are literally trying to get there. So what is it that
Well,
you?
it's funny you say that, man. So this is my thing. You
Mhm.
can never look at you can never look at the older generation as that. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Talk to it.
The younger people could never live through the Great Depression days.
Yeah.
They could never live through when there was white only, black only. They don't have the mindset to bite their tongue and move forward. They don't have their mindset that I got to get back to my family. I got these kids to raise. So what they said this, it's all right. You know what I mean? I like you had to be a strong person mentally and emotionally to live through those Great Depression days and those days where the schools was not integrated yet, and you had to live through those days when the school first integrated. You know what I mean? Because I remember my pops lost tons of scholarships when the school was integrated, tons. You know what I'm saying? And he started the first riot at Saluda High School. Oh yeah, they just gave him a plaque. They just gave him a plaque last year, in memory, in honor of his name, that he was the only student that was at the board meetings when schools integrated. The only black
Wow,
student.
that is greatness.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is yeah. And
yeah.
I get I agree with you. But I not and on that I also think that we can take at least that tenacity for what we are going through because a lot of times history does repeat itself. And I'm not saying that we're going to go back to those times, but a lot of racial inequality, a lot of injustice, against women, against men, and I think that we could, take that from them in the life sense, but also in the business sense, you know. And this is why I love how having conversations with you on and off screen because it's like every time I leave, even if it's not business wise, it's spiritual wise. I leave with knowing something. Um,
All right.
what is something that you want to do in your life? What big dreams, big goals that you still saying? You know what? I haven't reached that yet.
My big goals and big dreams is to have at least 4 to 5 performing arts schools in the state of South Carolina because we really have none. Greenville, Charleston, um, Orangeburg. Maybe about 20 miles down the road from South Carolina State and Claflin, and to really also have one in Myrtle Beach. Cause you're definitely by the beach and it's right there by the House of Blues. And so to have the school partner up with the House of Blues would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. hmm yeah. I was talking and yeah, because a lot of the undeserved communities where a lot of the talent comes from don't have the outlet.
And I
Don't
want
have
you to
the
be one of my
outlet.
business and I want you to be one of my business partners on it.
Let's talk. We gonna talk.
Okay.
Seriously, we gonna talk.
All right.
I I want to ask this last question before we end the show. What what are your top 5 favorite artists? Your top no, we're gonna do favorite artists first. Your top 5 favorite artists, R&B and hip hop.
Are we talking about top 5 female? Are we so I can give you my top 5 male and my top 5 female if
Okay,
I could.
for both. Yes, we can do it that way.
Um Female, Aretha,
Mm,
Patty,
mm,
Whitney Houston,
oof,
um, Tamala Mann,
yeah.
and last but not least, I would I would say Loretta Lynn.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Good list.
Okay, male, Michael Jackson, Prince, Donny Hathaway,
Oh,
um, Gerald Levert,
yeah.
and the last one that I would say is Fred Hammond.
Mm, yeah. That list, that first list, crazy. Crazy. Vocalist out of this world. Talent out of this world. Creativity out of this world. That second list, that is music. All of those people you named are music.
Yeah,
When you talk about music, those are the people. I'm sorry, hip hop artists. I want to know.
hip hop artists. Biggie, Biggie,
Yeah.
Tupac, Nas, Snoop Dogg, DMX,
Okay. 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 I like that.
and
Do you have any
females,
female?
and
Yeah.
female hip hop artists. Um, it would be MC Light, Queen Latifah, Rhapsody, Lauryn Hill, and last but not least, somebody who I used to listen to so much, and she's been forgotten about, but she was out, Debrat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the brass music. Yeah. Those are good lists. Every time you talk about music, those are the people that are coming up. And that's what I honestly that's the type of music that I believe that I connect with a lot. Because those people had soul. They had a little bit of God, a little bit of love in them. So I love that. I love that list. Before we leave, do you have anything that you want to say to a young artist who wants
Um,
to be in this business?
yeah, man, just believe in you, and understand that when somebody asks you for a budget, that doesn't mean that they just want to take your money, but they asking you. You have to identify that you are budget worthy. You put a budget behind sneakers. You put a budget behind marijuana. You put a budget behind clothes. You put a budget behind Michael Kors watches, Michael Kors bag. But why is it not significant for you to put a budget behind yourself? Aren't you budget worthy? You know, don't you have the identity to change lives and to share something with the world that God has gifted you with? So are you not budget worthy? Understand that you're budget worthy.
That's good. That's good. Understand that you are budget worthy. You have value, you have purpose, and you have the ability to be able to be all that you can be. Do you have any last words that you want to say?
Just understand no matter the obstacles, no matter the challenges, no matter the trials and tribulations, understand that Rome wasn't built in a day and don't nothing happen overnight. And once you understand that, then you can identify that you are blessed by the best always.
Oh yeah. Can you tell them where they can find you? It will also be in the description below as well. Tell them where to find you.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook as Jacob Anderson II. You can find me on TikTok as King Jacob 1974, Instagram King Jacob 1974, Snapchat King Jacob 1974, and LinkedIn Jacob W Anderson II. And you can also find me on www.exquisitepr4u.com,
Yeah.
and that email would be jacob at exquisitepr4u.com, or you can reach me at Jacob W Anderson, the number two, at gmail.com. And the number is 704-425-8303. My door is always open. If I can help you in any way I can, I'll help you as you help yourself. Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. It means a lot. I learned a lot, and I hope that whoever watches this, they learn and that they leave inspired, leave knowing that they can be all that they can be. Seriously, you can. And so, on
No
that
doubt.
note, I want to say thank you to all of my internet cousins. It's your favorite internet cousin. Hey. And this is the third episode, y'all. The favorite internet cousin podcast is here because I really want to dive into the entertainment, the movies, the music, the TV, the things, and I don't even want it to be the superficial stuff, but I want to really talk, and I really want everybody who is always asking, how can I do this? I have the ability. I just need the knowledge, and sometimes the knowledge isn't always what we want, but it's what we need. So make sure that you subscribe, that you like, that you share this with your friends, your cousin, and tell them my cousin is on it. If you keep watching him, he's going to become your cousin, and so now we all have a favorite internet cousin, and that's me. So, and God, I want to say happy Halloween to everybody who celebrates Halloween. Everybody, all of my internet cousins who getting dressed up. I have a little outfit too, but y'all gonna love it. I'm paying homage. Call it homage, y'all. And so I can't wait to show y'all that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning into the favorite internet cousin podcast. And I am your favorite internet cousin, Jamarcus Lee Park. I love y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe now. I'm watching you.